Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk here for another video today. And the Houston Rockets lose after what an incredible win the other night versus the Lakers. But they lose tonight to the Mavericks 113-100. I will say, besides the Rockets' performance in the second quarter, the Houston Rockets played a very, very great game tonight. I will say they had a decent first. They had an awful second. They had a decent third quarter, a decent third quarter, and they had a really, really great fourth quarter. But here's the thing: they just got so behind in the second and third quarters to the point where the fourth quarter it wasn't a big enough comeback. They okay. This is gonna sound stupid, but the Mavs lead was 29. The Rockets cut it down to 14 in like 6 minutes or 7 minutes. And they kept fighting in the fourth quarter. Steven Silas never put in the starters, which it really meant to me that he didn't believe that they could win this game, which really, with how good the Mavs were playing, it was going to be really hard to do a 14-point comeback with 5 minutes left or 6 minutes left with how much time there was in the game. But the players that were on the court were playing great, like Garrison Matthews, Bruno Fernando as well. We'll talk about him soon. Very impressed with his performance tonight. When he was on the court. But yeah, just besides the second quarter, just a great game played by the Rockets tonight. Besides the second quarter, I will say. I mean, if you look at the second quarter, if you look at this game and don't look at the second quarter, the Rockets fought. The second quarter, they really fell apart, and just dug in a hole that they couldn't really get back into. And when they tried to get back in that hole, it just wasn't enough. But yeah, we're gonna go over some stats. Starters for the Mavs. Reggie Bullock had 8. Dwight Powell had 26, a monster game from him. 16 for Dinwiddie, 30 for Luka Doncic, 10 for Josh Green, 0 for Maxi Kleber, 6 for Davis Bertans, 2 for the former Houston Rockets Sterling Brown, 0 from the GOAT Boban Marjanovic, 15 from Trey Burke. And Dorian Finney-Smith and Jalen Brunson were both out due to injuries, and Frank Ntilikina was a DNP coach's decision. Rocket starters, again, no Christian Wood, no Jayshawn Tate. KJ Martin dropped 11 tonight. Another great game from KJ Martin, just not as good as he's been playing, but I really have been impressed with KJ Martin, and he's done a great job. He has done a great job when starting. I know he's only started 2 games this season, this game and the last game. But if you also look at his starts from last season, he was also really good in those games as well. But if you really look at KJ stats in March, he is really starting to improve, and I'm really impressed with KJ Martin. Alperen Sengun had 6. A decent game from him. He did have a couple monster dunks. He also had 6 rebounds. I'm not really impressed with 6 rebounds from Alperen Sengun playing the starting center tonight. But comparing his performance tonight to his 21 points against the Lakers on Wednesday night is not that really good, but decent night from Sengun. Eric Gordon had 4. Comparing his night to his night against the Lakers as well was not that well. But yeah, it is what it is. KPJ had 17, and Jalen Green had 11. So, yeah, none of these 5 starters really had the nights that they all had the other night on Wednesday. Most of these guys were over 20 the other night. Jalen Green dropped 32. Sengun dropped 21. KJ had 17, I think. Gordon had, 14 or 17. KPJ had 10, but almost dropped a triple-double the other night. But, I mean, yeah. But looking at the minutes of these guys, Sengun 20 minutes, Gordon 21, KPJ 26, Jalen 27. Not a lot of minutes for the starters tonight because of probably the production of the first half. So, yeah. The bench, Bruno Fernando. What a game from Fernando. But, I mean, yeah, great game from Bruno Fernando. And we do talk about Bruno. But Yeah, 16 for Bruno tonight. Also dropped 11 rebounds. He was just a monster all over the place. Very impressed with him. He was eager to play well. Had some amazing throwdowns tonight. Can he do anything else besides be a monster in the paint and get rebounds? No. But can he do a hell of a job at what I just said he can do? Yes. This dude actually can be a great backup center. I'm not even kidding. If you give him the proper minutes and the proper passers to throw him right lobs, oh, he's just dirty. Get him the right pick and roll lob guys, and you have a hell of a backup center right there. I'm very impressed with Bruno Fernando's performance tonight. Watch out for Bruno. He's coming. David Nwaba dropped 7 tonight, 15 minutes. Schroeder had 3. But he had 7 assists. Garrison Matthews had 7. He had a 4-point play in the fourth quarter to try to bring the Rockets closer back into the game. He also had a 3-pointer. He had a 3-pointer at first. He almost got his second 4-point play, but they waved it off. Josh Christopher had 17. I was very impressed with his performance again tonight. He had a couple nice slams tonight. And Dayshawn Nix had 1 point in 5 minutes. And Usman Garuba is out with the wrist injury. Overall team performance for the Rockets, I was very impressed with Josh Christopher's performance tonight. Very impressed with Bruno Fernando's performance tonight. Starters, was not very impressed with them. Definitely Şengün and Gordon, I was not impressed with. Jalen Green, sorry. Jalen Green started off. Here's the disappointing thing I have with Jalen Green. Jalen Green started the first quarter 3 for 3. And only scored 11 points in the game. If you grab, I don't really remember if any. No, those were all 2s. So he scored 6 in the first quarter. So after the first quarter, he only scored 5 points. But he didn't even touch the floor in the fourth. So yeah, it's kind of a weird situation. So basically, he played in the second and third quarters, only dropped 5. But yeah. This is a weird performance from the Rockets. I don't know if I should say they play bad or if they should play good. It's kind of in the mix. They played decent. They played good, then they played bad, then they played decent. But it's the Mavericks. The Rockets played okay against a good team. But it's whatever. But we'll get over it. I expect the Rockets to win on Sunday versus the Pelicans because they are very injured. But then they'll probably lose because I will jinx it. But yeah, Rockets improved to 10-22 at home, 17-50 on the year. Been a tough year, but I will say, and you can disagree to agree, you can disagree, I can give a fuck, but I will say, I do think for a 17-50 team, the Rockets are probably one of the most talented 17-50 teams the NBA will ever see. This team does not, for some of the strides they play, when they play good, they look like a playoff team. Like if you use for instance the way they played against the Lakers on Wednesday, or when they played against the Grizzlies on Sunday, that looks like a playoff team playing basketball. When they play good, they look good. So I'm saying like their record 17-50, like they're better than so many other teams in the NBA. They're better than the Magic. They're better than the Thunder. They're better than the Pistons. I would maybe, and that's like really it. They're better, and I think they're better than the Pacers probably too. They're better than about 4 or 5 teams in the NBA, even though they have the worst record in the NBA. But, yeah, it is what it is. But, yeah, pretty much it. Rockets lose to the Mavericks 113-100. And let me know your thoughts about the Rockets' performance tonight, and peace out. Go Rockets.